Hey Procraftinators! Today we are celebrating Courtney Kreeber's 10,000 subscriber hop. 10,000 subscribers! That is huge! Congratulations, Courtney. That is an amazing accomplishment. So, for her 10,000 subscriber hop, there will be 10 stops on the hop, and at each stop, there will be a giveaway. The giveaway will be the main stamp set that the creator is using in the video. So, for my video, that will be the Simon Says stamp. Look for the Rainbows stamp set. The giveaways are open to international viewers, and all you have to do is to leave a comment to be entered in the giveaway. You must be 13 years of age or older to enter, and the giveaway is no way affiliated with or sponsored by YouTube. Winners will be announced on May 31st on Courtney's channel, so be sure to head over to her channel and subscribe so you don't miss that announcement video. All right, so I am just stamping out my stamps here. I started with that large floral or large flower in the corner, and then I'm stamping I masked it, and then I'm stamping these smaller flowers on either side, and I am masking those as well. I just wanted to make a large floral arrangement. And I am using Gina K Amalgam ink because I'm going to be doing some Copic coloring. And if you've been here before, you know that I don't use alcohol markers very often, and I've never used Copics because I didn't have any until, well, last week. I scored an amazing deal on some slightly used Copics, and they were very slightly used. The nibs were in perfect condition, and I actually weighed the markers to see how well used they were, and most of them were pretty much full. So I am very excited about my purchase. I practically stole them. They were so cheap. But I am very excited. I am not new to alcohol marker coloring. I did have a couple cheap sets that, they did okay, but I really wasn't all that thrilled with them. So I am very, very excited for my Copics. So I'm just going to finish stamping these out. You stamp the image that you want in front first, and then you stamp the subsequent images that you want in back, after you mask your first images. So I do use Avery removable ID labels for my masking, and I did cut the mask out on my scanning cut because, well, I hate to fussy cut, to be completely honest, and I'm kind of lazy, so it just makes it easier to have my scan and cut do the work for me. So we're just going to finish up stamping a couple leaves here, and then we're going to remove those masks and reveal my floral bouquet or arrangement or whatever you want to call it here. So there it is. We're going to remove these masks, have the peel reveal. And that's just going to take a second here, and I'm just going to tell you that when I did cut this out on my scanning cut, I did save the pattern and had it cut out on some plain paper that I didn't stamp, so I could have a couple pieces to layer up behind it to give it some dimension and a little bit of stability, because those leaves that are sticking out on the side there, the stems were very, very fragile, and I wanted to give it a little bit of stability. And what I'm doing here is I'm just connecting the images where they didn't necessarily stamp all the way because of the masks there. So I'm just connecting those with a Copic Safe pen. It's a very old Creative Memories fine line type pen, and it happens to be Copic Safe. So I'm just going to do a little bit of Copic coloring here. I'm only going to color one floral image and I believe 2 leaves. I'm just going to start off here with my darkest color, which is R08, and I'm just going to put it in my shadow areas, and then I like to go along the lines that the artist drew as well, which is kind of like an indication of where some folds in the flower would be, which to me kind of indicates where the shadows would be as well. And then I'm just going to blend out with my lighter colors, and here is a little still of the whole petal, and I'm just going to do that for that one petal. The rest of the time we're going to probably mostly stay in this view, this second camera view here. Again, I'm going to start off in my with my darkest color and fill in my shadows. So while we're doing the Copic coloring, I do want to talk a little bit about Courtney, because this hop is to honor her and her milestone, her great achievement, and how hard she has worked to get to 10,000 subscribers. I do think that we should also talk about how great she has been for this community, and how she helps smaller channels. I don't know if many of you are aware of what she does, but she does have a group called Handmade Happiness on Facebook, and in that group we we organize hops for channels, big or small, but many of us in that group are smaller channels, and and she does a lot to help smaller channels, like figure things out, how to start a channel, even how to start a blog, how to get your views up or get more followers on Instagram. I mean, she just helps the smaller channels in any way that she can. People ask how to take better photos, and she helps them with that. I mean, she dedicates a lot of time and energy into helping smaller channels grow, or just smaller creators grow. Not everybody has a YouTube channel on that group. So she just dedicates a lot of time in helping creators, and I think that is definitely noteworthy of recognition in what she does. So I'm just gonna finish up this last, I believe we're on the last petal here, it looks like, and I think that everybody should know how much time and effort she puts into helping others, because she does put a lot of time and effort into that, and I don't see a whole lot of bigger channels do that. I know there are some out there that do, but it seems like the majority of them are like, well, we figured it out, so can you. And so I think that she should be recognized for that as well. Not only her accomplishment of 10,000 subscribers, but the fact that she does help smaller channels. So there is the finished full floral flower. Geez, if I could talk. And the two leaves, and then I colored the rest of them off screen. And then now I'm going to I layered up two pieces of cardstock here in like a blue-green color, teal, whatever you want to call it. And then I am putting some Nuvo Crackle Mousse in Ivory Coast, I believe it's called, and through a Tim Holtz bubble stencil. And I'm just going to set that aside to air dry. If you watched a video a couple of videos ago where this particular bottle of Crackle Mousse that came in a tonic craft kit was labeled that you should apply heat to it, and that's what I did, not knowing that, because the bottle told me to do it. And so this time we are actually going to let it air dry and let it crackle like it's supposed to, instead of applying heat and letting it bubble. So we will get the actual effect of the Crackle Mousse this time. And then I'm taking one of those pieces of teal cardstock, a little scrap that I had, and we're going to white heat emboss a thank you sentiment on it. And I'm going to use WOW opaque white embossing powder on this. And because the theme is thank you, that's why I'm using a thank you sentiment. And it's got a little sub sentiment on there. I believe it's for all you do, if I remember correctly. And then we're just going to heat that off screen, and I'm going to set it aside, and you will see it come back again later. Now, if you hadn't noticed, I had left the centers of the flowers white, and that is because the third flower up from the bottom, I had accidentally missed that when I went set my scan and cut up to cut these flowers out, and I had missed that it was going to cut the center of my flower out, if you can see that. And so I thought originally maybe I would fill the centers with Nuvo drops to cover up that little mistake there. But then I decided at this point that I didn't want to fill them with Nuvo drops, and I would just color the flowers, color the center of the flowers yellow, the ones that have centers and didn't get them cut out. And then I'm just going to take my sentiment strip and cover that up, because while my crackle paste was drying, I decided to go around the edges of my die cuts there with a black pen, and my black pen slipped, and I made an extra little line on one of those petals on that flower that's missing a center. Now, most people that don't know probably wouldn't have noticed the little line on one of those petals that's extra, because the petals already have lines, right? But I could see it, and it kind of bothered me. And I tried to get rid of it as well, which kind of made it even more noticeable. So instead of it bothering me and leaving it alone, I decided to cover it up with a sentiment strip instead. So that nixed the whole Nouveau drop idea and just cover up both mistakes at once, basically. And I will point the mistake out before I put my sentiment strip on. That way you can see it. But I think most of you are probably going to be like, Amanda, it was no big deal. You should have just left it. But the center of the flower, just, it had to be covered up somehow. That was just not going to, I could not leave that. So the sentiment strip covers up both those mistakes, and it's fine. So there's my sentiment strip. And we're going to put glue on the back of it, and then I'm going to remember that I needed to show you the mistakes. I mean, I think you can see the center thing, the center of the flower missing, no problem. But the little line, like I said, it probably wasn't a big deal, but it bothered me. So there you can see the center of the flower clear as day. And then that little bitty line right there. Yeah, I know. It's probably not a big deal, but it bugged me, all right? So we're just going to cover that up like that. And then we're going to stamp the inside of the flower, or the inside of the card. There's a close-up of all the sparkle and pretty and everything. All right, now we're going to stamp the inside of the card. I just had to figure out a way to use those birds. There's a couple birds in the stamp set that are just adorable, and I had to figure out a way to use them. I was going to stamp them on the inside or the outside of the card somehow, but I just kind of thought that my floral arrangement and everything was so busy. So I had to put one on the inside of the card. I just had to. So after we get done stamping that, then we're going to finish off the card on the outside with, oh, I got to clean off my stamps. I should have cut that out, but it's too late now. All right, now we're going to finish off the outside of the card with some Nouveau Aqua Shimmer pen, of course, because everything has to sparkle. And there's the finished card. So I hope that you enjoyed the project today and my first Copic coloring on screen. And be sure to check out the description box below for the next person in the hop. And as always, have a great day.